Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Saget, and welcome to America's Funniest Home Videos, which is a pretty good title considering what you'll be seeing tonight is America's Funniest Home Videos. I love home movies, everybody, even other people's. So when I was asked to host a show made up of those private, real moments, I said, how much will I be getting paid for that? Oh, that's a joke. I actually said that is a great idea.
On November 26, 1989, America's Funniest Home Videos premiered as a special on ABC, with Bob Saget hosting the show alongside Kelly Martin, that at the time on Life Goes On. The series is kind of like with the Simpsons holiday special. It was kind of obvious ABC was going to do a TV series off of it because it literally premiered a couple months later on January 14th, 1990, coincidentally the same day The Simpsons premiered on Fox. And, it was a show that was, for the time, a very entertaining show, seeing all these different videos from across the country, all these different videos of people just like, physical comedy, unintentional physical comedy, pets, children, some stage pranks, that type of stuff. And it was a show that was very fun, and it went on for several years, and, it was one of those shows that, for the time, it worked because we didn't live in the time of social media, the internet in general, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. All that stuff was not there back in the 1990s. I mean, we had just this show and these other shows that were very similar to these type of shows, but America's Funniest Home Videos did it best. And while it ran for several years, you could tell that the show was kind of waning and getting ready to head on out. And it was a show that was very much beloved for a number of years, running from 1989 all the way to... Wait a minute. It's still on the air today?
Welcome to America's Funniest Home Videos $100,000 show. And now, here he is, your host, Alfonso Ribeiro.
Let's do it. Come on, y'all. Thank you. Yes. Hello and welcome to our $100,000 show.
Yeah, the feeling that America's Funniest Home Videos was a product of its time is greatly exaggerated because not only has the show continued on in various forms, it's heading into its 35th season this upcoming year, and it's really amazing to see that this show continues to have a legacy to it even after all these years. I mean, like I said before, this is around the time when, we live in a time now where social media is so easy, a place where you can upload videos like you see on America's Funniest Home Videos, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. Like, you can just download it straight from the app and boom, it's already online. So really, a show like America's Funniest Home Videos should be seen as a novelty of the time, but like I said, it's been going on for almost 4 decades now, and it makes me wonder, what's the overall appeal here? I mean, why has the show had a lasting longevity that still holds up to this very day in general? I mean, it's one of those shows that, like I said, you'd think it would be something that would be a product of the time, but it has been obviously seen that this show still has a loyal fan base to it, and it's still relatively a successful TV series. I mean, it still averages close to like 5 million viewers now, which doesn't seem like a lot, but considering how linear TV ratings nowadays are much lower than they were back in the day before we got to streaming and digital, and the way the wives are watching on digital anytime we want to, that's still pretty impressive to really think about. And quite frankly, it's incredible to see how this has turned out the way it has. At the time, America's Funniest Home Videos was a massive hit show. I mean, back when it first began, it was a show that was in the top 30 shows of all time in its first season in 1990. It averaged 18 million viewers in its first year. It was placed within Nielsen's top 5 highest rated weekly shows within weeks of its debut. And there was a time when it was actually the #1 primetime series for a short period of time. And like I said, it did finish in the top 10 shows in that year. And it's been a relatively stable show, even with all the various changes, all the various hosts that have come into play. And there's a study by the New York Times of the 50 TV shows with the most Facebook likes found, and it simply said, if you could pick a safe show that appeals to almost anyone, this might be it. And quite literally, I think it has a lot of things about it. When you really look at it, there are a lot of things about this show that appeals to so many different people. We love watching. This is the type of humor that kind of works where misery, the form of comedy that works is that misery makes for great comedy. And on a lot of these videos, misery is part of it because somebody's always getting injured, somebody's always getting unintentionally hurt, somebody's always getting something crazy's happening, but like it's almost always usually very funny to watch at times. Yeah, there's those times when sometimes the host can do something a little bit too lazy, like the cheap knockoff voices. Like Bob Saget kind of made it work at the time, but then there's other times when other hosts came in and did it. Like I think Tom Bergeron has done it a couple times, even though was very good as the host of his run, as well as Alfonso Ribeiro. But like, yeah, once in a while the stick kind of gets old, and you can see why Bob Saget kind of wanted to leave in the mid-90s when that happened, because he was starting to get tired of doing the same thing over and over and over again. And those last couple of years of the show really didn't feel like the same type of show in those last couple of seasons than it was compared to the first couple of seasons. But he's always had a love for the show, and even returned several times on the show for like the 20th anniversary of the show, and then again for the 25th anniversary and the 30th anniversary, which was the last time he showed up before his death in 2022. And the show definitely has gone through some dark periods where it just really wasn't quite as good as it should have been. Like after Bob Saget left, they tried a dual hosting role with John Fugelsang and Daisy Fuentes, which didn't really work out all that well, and kind of went away pretty quickly. And then they just did regular specials, which slowly but surely kind of brought it back around. Like they had people like D.L. Hughley host the show, Richard Kind, Tom Bergeron actually did host one, Steve Carell did like an uncensored version, which I had for a while, but I think I got rid of it, and I'm really peeved that I did it, because that's very, very, very hard to find, and it had a lot of good stuff on there. But following that, those specials were popular enough for them to continue the show. Several times after they did specials, specifically the ones with Tom Bergeron, which he ran that show for 14 seasons, and that's a really long run, especially considering Bob Saget only did about half that, and he made that show work on his own. Like he'd add a lot of elements to it. There was a lot of things that he made his own, and it worked very well to the show's advantage. And it was a really good, fun time when he was around. Even with Alfonso Ribeiro, again, he pits that role in there so well in general, and the fun factor is still there even after all these years. Like it's really impressive how this show has continued to have the fun factor it has for the last couple of years. Like it's a comfort food show. Like it's funny how this show is on the same night as shows that have been on for a long period of time, like 60 Minutes, Dateline NBC, The Simpsons, the Family Guy, for example. Like these shows that, yeah, they could have easily have shut it down after a couple of years, but they still remain like comfort food shows that you can always go back to on the same night. Like if you want to watch 60 Minutes is still a show you still want to watch. Dateline NBC is a show you still want to watch. America's Funniest Home Videos fits into that category of shows where you have like this comforting feel to it. They're still fun shows even after all these years. And America's Funniest Home Videos definitely fits in that same category as something like The Simpsons and 60 Minutes and Dateline NBC, like shows that you've grown accustomed to all the years, and it would just feel weird if they got rid of them. And yeah, America's Funniest Home Videos is not a clever show by any means necessary, but it is still a fun show that still very much holds up well over time, because it's a simple concept. People like watching these videos and watching people get injured and do these ridiculous things and do these silly things, and it works very well to the show's advantage, and it's a really good fun time all around. So yeah, there is kind of a thing that I still have a lot of nostalgic feelings towards America's Funniest Home Videos, even from very back in the day, but I can still watch it nowadays and still find a lot of appeal to it even after all these years. It's a show that definitely still has a place in many people's hearts, no matter which versions of the show you watch. This is a show that I still really do like watching a lot, and I'm glad to see that the show has continued to remain very entertaining over the course of its run, even though I am kind of surprised that it still continues to still be the show that is still on the air, despite the fact this is such an idea that could have easily been dead once the internet took over. But they found a way to advance to the internet age, and lo and behold, the show's success has proven that, the longevity has proven that this is a format that is successful, and done well, it can last for a very, very long time and still hold up very well after all these years. So yeah, I always found it kind of amusing that America's Funniest Home Videos lasted as long as it has, and is still very popular even by today's standards. But that's all I had to say about that one. I just wanted to make an interesting conversation about that one. But let me know your thoughts down below. I want to know how you feel about America's Funniest Home Videos. Do you feel like me that it's still very much an enjoyable show even after all these years? Check out the last video I did about how the Late Late Show with James Corden will be remembered, along with some of the other videos I've done on this show. And let me hear your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.